8 easy ways to break up with a girl without creating drama. Breaking up is hard, but, what's worse? A messy breakup that leaves behind anger, resentment, and unnecessary drama. And if you're watching this, chances are you're looking for a way to end things without all the chaos. Here's something to think about. Studies show that nearly 60% of people have experienced at least one traumatic breakup in their lifetime. That's more than half of us walking around with emotional scars from a relationship that ended badly, but it doesn't have to be that way. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to break up without turning it into a dramatic mess. And if you stick around till the end, I'll share a bonus tip that can completely change how you handle breakups forever. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Welcome to Emma, your go-to channel for real, relatable advice on navigating the complexities of love and relationships. One, don't drag it out. The longer you delay, the worse it gets. There's no such thing as the perfect time to break up, and if you keep waiting for one, you're only making things harder for both of you. Think about it if you've already checked out emotionally, but she's still planning the next vacation with you. How fair is that she's investing in a future that doesn't exist? And the longer you let that continue, the more painful the breakup will be when it finally happens. A lot of people convince themselves that waiting somehow makes it easier, that if they just hold on a little longer, they'll find the right words, the right moment, or that maybe things will fix themselves, but they won't. The best thing you can do, be honest and do it sooner rather than later. If you already know the relationship is over, don't drag it out the longer. You wait, the more it hurts. Her frustrates you and creates unnecessary drama. Instead, respect both of your time by ripping the Band-Aid off. It won't be fun and it might be uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, a clean break is always better than a slow, painful unraveling. 2, when ghosting is a good choice. Ghosting is usually seen as immature and hurtful, and in most cases it is. But sometimes it's not just the best option, it's the only option. If you're dealing with someone who is toxic, manipulative, or even emotionally abusive, you don't owe them a deep conversation. Closure is a privilege, not a right. And if someone has disrespected your boundaries time and time again, you don't need to explain why you're walking away. Think about it this way. If you've told her no multiple times and she keeps pushing, ignoring your comfort levels or guilt, tripping you into staying, what exactly would a breakup conversation achieve? More arguments, more manipulation in cases like these. Ghosting isn't rude, it's a protective measure. You don't need to subject yourself to someone who thrives on control, and you're not alone in this. Over 30% of people admit to having either ghosted or been ghosted in dating, often due to toxic behaviour. So if she's the type who twists your words, invades your space, or refuses to take no for an answer, disappearing might actually be the healthiest thing you can do. You're not being cruel, you're prioritising your mental and emotional well-being, and that's more important than anyone's expectations of how a breakup should happen. 3, when a phone call is a good choice. Not every breakup needs to happen face-to-face. In fact, sometimes sitting across from someone and watching them process the news in real time only makes things harder for both of you. This is where a phone call becomes the right move. If you've been dating casually or it's been a long-distance relationship, a call is a perfectly respectful and appropriate way to end things. It's direct, personal, and allows for real conversation without unnecessary tension. Think about it. If you've only been seeing each other for a few months, does it really make sense to set up an in-person meeting just to say, hey, this isn't working? Probably not. Dragging someone out for a sit-down breakup when the emotional investment is low can feel forced and over the top. A call gives both of you space to process without the added pressure of a face-to-face interaction. It's not ghosting, it's closure without unnecessary theatrics. You're still showing respect by having a conversation, but you're also being mindful of both your time and emotional energy. The key here, keep it short, clear and kind. No long explanations, no mixed signals, no over-apologizing. Something as simple as, hey, I really enjoyed getting to know you, but I don't see this going further. I just wanted to be honest with you about where I stand, clean, respectful, and most importantly, drama-free for. When a text message is a good choice, breaking up over text gets a bad reputation. And for good reason, it can feel cold, dismissive, and impersonal. But here's the thing. Not every relationship requires a deep emotional breakup. Conversation in some cases, a simple text is actually the best way to go. When is it okay if you've only gone on a few dates, there's no deep emotional connection, or it's pretty clear she's not that into you either? Then, a text is a reasonable and efficient way to end things. No need to overcomplicate something that never had strong foundations in the first place. For example, if you've only been out together twice and the conversation has already started fizzling, a short direct message is completely fine. Hey, I think you're great, but I don't really see this going anywhere. Wishing you the best that's respectful, clear, and doesn't waste anyone's time. But let's be real, if you've been dating for 6 months, a year, or longer, breaking up over text is just cold. It sends the message that you don't care enough to even have a real conversation. And honestly, that's unfair. The rule here is simple. If you've built a meaningful connection, you owe her a real conversation. If you haven't, a text is completely fine. It's about matching the level of communication to the level of the relationship before we proceed. If you find value in this video, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us grow and makes you an integral part of our journey, and we deeply appreciate your contribution. Now, let's return to our discussion 5. Pack it up if you expect no context in the future. Not every breakup needs a long emotional conversation, especially when, you won't be seeing each other again if you're moving to a new city, leaving the country, or ending a short-lived situationship. Dragging out the breakup isn't just unnecessary, it can actually make things worse. The truth is, sometimes closure is overrated. You don't need to sit down and explain every detail of why things aren't working, if you're both going your separate ways anyway. In cases like this, the best approach is to keep it short, polite, and crystal clear. Clear something as simple as, hey, I've really enjoyed spending time with you, but I don't see this going further. Wishing you all the best. That's it. No long-winded explanations, no mixed signals, no unnecessary apologies. Here's why this works. Over-explaining can actually create more drama, not less. If you start giving too many reasons, you might find yourself getting pulled into a debate where she's trying to convince you to stay, or worse, resenting you for every word you say. Keep it simple if there's no real future context where you will be crossing paths. Then there's no need to overcomplicate the goodbye. Sometimes the most respectful thing you can do is just walk away with grace, or 6. Know why you are doing this in the first place. Before you even start the breakup conversation, you need to be 100% clear on why you're doing it. Uncertainty is the fastest way to turn a simple breakup into a long, exhausting debate, one where you leave feeling even more drained than before. Women respect confidence if you go in saying, I don't know, I just feel. Off expect a long, messy discussion that leads nowhere. She'll push for answers, try to find solutions, and might even convince you to stay. Not because the relationship is great, but because you weren't sure what you wanted in the first place. Instead, go in with clarity and conviction. If you're ending things, know exactly why. Maybe you've realised you want different things in life. Maybe you've lost feelings. Maybe just not as invested as you should be. Whatever it is, be honest with yourself first, because if you're not sure she'll sense it, a strong, clear statement, like I've thought about this and I don't see us as the right fit. I think we both deserve something that aligns better with what we want, that's short, strong, and leaves no room for arguments. A breakup should be a decision, not an open-ended discussion. If you walk in prepared, you set the tone. Keep things respectful and avoid Avoid unnecessary drama, and trust me, she will respect you more for it. 7. Use I statements. The way you phrase your breakup can make all the difference between a clean break and an emotional battlefield. If you want to end things without unnecessary conflict, you need to avoid blame, saying something like, "You never listen to me," or "You're too clingy." Immediately puts the other person on the defensive. It feels like an attack, and what happens when people feel attacked? They argue, deny, or fight back. Instead, the smartest way to navigate this is by using I statements. It shifts the focus away from what they did wrong and keeps the conversation about your personal decision, which is much harder to argue against. For example, instead of saying, "You don't support me enough," you could say, "I feel like we want different things in life, and I don't see this relationship going where I hoped." Or instead of, "You never make time for me," try, "I've realized I need something different in a relationship, and I don't think this is the right fit for me anymore." Why does this work? According to research from the Harvard Business Review, people are significantly less defensive when confronted with I statements instead of direct blame. When you remove blame, you lower the chance of arguments, guilt tripping, or unnecessary fights. The goal here isn't to make her feel bad. The goal is to make your decision clear while keeping the conversation respectful. This approach helps both of you move on faster without lingering resentment or drama. 8. Cut the online cords. If you want to truly move on, you need to cut the online cords. Because, let's be honest, keeping her on your social media isn't helping anyone. Seeing her posts, her updates, her new and improved life without you, that's just reopening the wound every single time, and you might think, "I can handle it." But the truth is, you're making the breakup so much harder than it needs to be. Think of it like this. If you're trying to quit junk food, but you keep a fridge full of pizza, how long before you break? The same thing happens here. The more you see her, the harder it is to move on. Now, does this mean you have to block her? Not necessarily. If blocking feels too harsh, simply mute her posts and stories so you're not constantly reminded of the past. This way you protect your peace without making a statement. But if she starts reaching out, posting things to get your attention, or trying to reel you back in, then, block and delete. Moving on is about removing distractions and focusing on what's ahead, not what's behind. And that starts with making sure your digital space isn't keeping you emotionally stuck in the past. If you've made it this far, comment. No drama in the comments below, so we know you're part of our real community bonus point, how to break up while making her respect you. Now let's talk about something that 99% of guys mess up. How to break up in a way that makes her respect you instead of resenting you? Most guys leave their exes bitter, angry, or completely disrespected. And when that happens, the drama doesn't just end. It lingers. She might vent about you to her friends, post cryptic messages online, or worst of all, remember you as just another emotionally clueless guy who didn't handle things right. But here's the real secret to breaking up without burning bridges. End things with kindness but firm boundaries. You don't need to ghost her. You don't need to be brutally honest to the point of cruelty. What you need is a clear ending, wrapped in respect. How do you do this? Give her one final compliment before you walk away. Say something that acknowledges her as a person without giving false hope. Something simple yet powerful, like, "I truly respect you and I know you'll find someone amazing." Why does this work? Because when people feel respected, they're less likely to hold on to resentment. It softens the blow without compromising your decision. The psychology behind this is simple. People react better to rejection when it comes with validation, instead of making her feel discarded. It lets her walk away with dignity, and when people feel respected, they're far less likely to create drama, spread negativity, or try to pull you back into the relationship. Most guys don't realize this, but how you end a relationship shapes how she remembers you forever. If you handle it with confidence, clarity, and respect, You don't just walk away with your self-respect intact. You leave without unnecessary baggage, regrets, or drama following you. If you want to break up without drama, remember this: keep it short, be clear, and don't drag it out. The more direct you are, the easier it is for both of you to move on. If you found this video helpful, support our channel by giving it a like. It helps more people find this content. Subscribe for daily insights like this, and share this video with someone who needs it. We've also recommended another video for you on screen right now. Check it out next. We'll see you back here tomorrow.